Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Metalopolis, and we bring you the one and only Hack. And he is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Terran versus his opponent, also in the slightly different shaded blue trunks. And that's the one and only NEXIceCream, also known as One.
Indeed, and on top of rooftops you usually see golf courses and lots of helipads, but on Metalopolis we're seeing Terran spawning here.
How many golf courses have you actually seen on rooftops?
I've seen
lately?
one in LA.
So you saw one?
Yeah.
That's your whole argument, because you saw one. You usually see on the top of... You know, one time I actually saw a carrier rush, but that doesn't mean we usually see carrier rush, Apollo.
Carriers are pretty good.
In what possible scenario?
What possible scenario? When a mothership is involved.
Yeah, I remember the last time I saw carriers. It was actually White Ra versus Stefano. You want to know what Stefano did? He built 30 corruptors. Yes. Yeah. It's like, oh, suddenly this doesn't work out anymore.
Dude, I love people who build hydras. It's like the funniest thing in the world.
That's adorable. Why would you do that?
That's like the cutest thing in the world. But that is ZVP, and we are TVT.
That we are, folks. We
TVT.
are actually TVT incarnate right here. NEXIceCream to the top. And, of course, in the close air positions, we've got a Hack. And it's currently one apiece after a rather crazy opening from Hack right there. Yep, that 2 racks that we've seen previously. It worked against Dystar. Didn't work quite as well against NEXIceCream, considering that vicious Banshee counterattack, but it wasn't quite enough to take Hack out of the game.
I think NEXIceCream's build last game on Securus was pretty good, to be fair. It just kind of ran into the counter of it, which was proxy 2 racks. And I think if Hack had actually played pretty much straight up without doing proxy barracks, then it would have worked, and I think he could have done a lot of damage, possibly taken the series. But that's not how it rolled, TotalBiscuit. Nope. We are going into the third game here. The SCV actually manages to get in here from Hack into NEXIceCream's base, and we'll be able to see that refinery compared to the other wall, which is now walled off, and no information will be revealed.
Nope, nothing whatsoever. Nothing of use at any rate. And he's building supply depots. I'm shocked by this development. Oh my god. It's a massacre right here. I'm looking forward to seeing this. As I say, this is one of the most entertaining TVTs I've ever had the pleasure to witness, and is continuing to be so between these two teammates, these two Korean players who, of course, play in the Korean server because we don't like latency.
Indeed. And I actually think TVT is probably the best mirror matchup now. I think it's been quite high for a long time, but it's definitely secured its place now.
No question.
PvP's probably second for me now, and ZVZ, so I'm really happy it is a TVT final. And once again, we're showing, well, actually seeing rather than showing, we're seeing the Terran dominance of Terran. And it has been in the GSL. It's like every GSL tournament's like Terran.
Certainly
TL
Open.
Yeah, Terran. And it's kind of weird because in a lot of different areas, we're seeing a lot of Zerg dominance in Europe.
Yeah, particularly.
But it's now we're seeing Terran, so it's really cool and showing each different region showing each other how to play each different race.
Yep, I mean, Terran did not do amazingly well at DreamHack, let's be honest.
I think it was just Bomber really left over quite
it really
late,
was. Yeah. They got knocked down really hard, if I'm totally honest, and recent tournaments have shown that to be the case. In the foreigner scene, at any rate, not in the Korean scene. It doesn't quite work the same. The metagame is different there. So let's have an update on what's actually going on. We've got Hack with the expansion right here to follow it up with a factory and another barracks there. He's taken 2 gas as well, as opposed to NEXIceCream, who has not started an expo right here at all, and is looking for some aggressive play. We do have a starport and a factory coming up with a Hellion actually already in production, so what would you expect here?
We might be seeing some ladder lifting into the main base, because it's, quite short distances, and we are just seeing a lot of Hellions being produced. So it looks like 8 Marines and 4 Hellions lifted all at once with 1 Medivac into the base. And if you think about it, what are we going to have? Just a bunch of Marines? We're not going to really have a tank out in time. So this could be quite dangerous, actually, from NEXIceCream here. So we'll have to see how Hack can do this. But if he does hold, then he's good. He's got the command center up, he's got 2 orbital commands, and he can continue into the later stages of the game. But this is all going to be about this Medivac drop.
It is looking unpleasant, as far as I can tell. It really, really is. He is going for it, and this looks like potentially massive damage. And Hack is moving to intercept, but it's not quite going to be quick enough. And this could be dangerous. There's the second lift up right there, and everything is in the base right now. Hellions just lurking, waiting to strike right now. And that is a large group of SCVs, and that could be unpleasant. You really don't want to do that against those Hellions. That's huge damage coming in right here on the economy of Haku. Is desperately trying to defend as much as he can. And really, what other choice did he have other than to charge in there? But he just threw away his economy in the process.
Wow, down to so little SCVs. 14 versus 27. Big deficit there, TotalBiscuit, and it's not looking good for Hack at all here.
Not exactly, no. That is unpleasant. I mean, Hack can certainly rebuild faster than his opponent. He does have those 2 orbital commands, so more mules coming in to compensate for that, and the SCVs, but really he had to try and hold that as much as possible, and that apparently was the only way he believed he could.
Yeah, and I'm actually really surprised. I'm looking at NEXIceCream's base. I'm surprised he's building Vikings. Doesn't really make too much sense to build Vikings, but I don't know, maybe he knows something secret than I don't. But another drop is incoming into the smoke.
Oh yes, the radar deflecting smoke, the mysterious smoke, folks. And there we go, running his way into that mineral line once again and doing as much damage as he can. He looks like to pick off a few, and one more shot perhaps before he's forced to back off. That wasn't as bad as it could have been, certainly, but still 17, now 18 SCVs up and 2 mules for Hack versus 31 for NEXIceCream.
Yeah, and his command center's almost done now too. A few more SCVs are going down in the base, but as you can say, the command set is almost done. Orbital will be starting soon, and it looks like another Viking in production here. And maybe a drop with a siege tank could be quite deadly here, since he only has really Marines to defend against this.
That's a possibility, certainly. A 3 Viking count is kind of curious, as you were saying there, but it does ensure that any kind of drop play by Hack is denied, and of course air superiority and vision superiority is in the hands of NEXIceCream. And we've seen what he can do with Vikings. It was actually kind of crazy what he was able to do the last time.
Yeah, he's not going to drop. He's just going to use, like you said, the Viking range, or not the Viking range, the Viking sight range to help his tank shoot that a little bit further. And he's going to basically contain Hack here, but he's got to be careful of any counter drops though. When you contain, the best way to break out of a containment is not to try and crush through. You literally just drop your opponent from the back and force him to retreat.
Especially in close air positions, that's exactly what you would do. However, there are no medevacs coming up right here. And here comes the Viking, and NEXIceCream is easily able to clean up that one opposing Viking right there. Currently 4 Vikings to none, so I can't really imagine that Hack's going to continue to build Vikings, surely, since his opponent already has a massive critical mass of them right there. Any Viking that tries to go in there will be instantly destroyed. He has the tank drop right here, and this is what the Vikings allow him to do. They give him that visibility. And there we go. We've got Hack moving around the side, however, attempting to flank his opponent. He's actually locked down of his own base right now. He needs to gain visibility as rapidly as possible. Vikings taking a lot of shelling. Those 2 tanks chewing their way through the forces of NEXIceCream. And Hack is driven all the way out of his own base.
It's so funny. He has to scan inside his own base. And he's losing all these SCVs now too. And it looks like Hack is going to pick up this win here. Not Hack, sorry. NEXIceCream is going to pick up this win.
Well, it's looking likely, honestly. Hack is holding the line as best he can, but there you go. GG, ladies and gentlemen.
GG, crab.
Crab, in fact. And the second game of this series ends up going to Ice Crown. World of Warcraft, ladies and gentlemen. Ice Crown, the Lich King, 3 epics. There you go. NEXIceCream, yes, of course. It is getting so hot in this particular room. I think our brains are melting. That's my excuse. Going out of our ears right now. We'll be going into Game 4 very, very shortly with NEXIceCream 1 away from the win.
I know.
Oh, yes, and no doubt with everything he needs to gain mega points going forward into this $1,000 tournament brought to you by Team Liquid and TeamSpeak 3. We will be right back with Game 4, folks. Don't go anywhere. The fun has just got started, and NEXIceCream powering his way through his teammate and opponents in his best-of-5 series.